My body is my temple, so I should treat it as such. Movement is medicine. With too much rest, I rust. I must become obsessed with this process and stay focused on my goal, understanding that wellness has to be a lifelong effort in order to sustain my mind, body, and soul. This is a lonely mission, as only I can lift the weights, run the miles, eat healthy, and continue to strive and elevate. The value of tomorrow is determined by the energy I invest today. Everything I go through, I will grow through. There is no other way. In order to be the best version of myself for those who need me most, I must put my wellness first and stay consistent in my growth. I have no other choice but to fight through the sweat, the doubt, and the pain, because what I am capable of becoming is too great to take in vain. When it is time to work, there is no time to get tired. Let uncomfortable be a teacher, and the fire a purifier. Keep going higher.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Abe. Welcome back to the Higher Power Lifestyle YouTube channel. This one is called Winning Your Race. And I hate to make this about race, but I do want to start by saying that this message is not for the individual who is intentional about their health and understands the importance of staying physically active. But for the rest of you, sit your down, grab a pen, and take notes. So having your mobility, having your energy, feeling powerful, being healthy, pretty much all throughout your life, but especially in your early 30s, mid 30s, early 40s, and beyond. I can tell you in my early 40s, that feeling is amazing. You can only earn that feeling through hard work, dedication, and consistently being active. But to me, what's even more priceless and just as important is feeling youthful, having the power, feeling healthy, at year 70 and beyond. Now that's a goal worth chasing. And I personally have witnessed these possibilities by always placing myself in an environment where people are working out and working on, just being the healthiest that they could possibly be. These places are the track, the gyms, the races, the health food stores. As you'll see throughout this video, as I've titled Winning Your Race, I have decided to show the differences in the activity levels in the white community versus the black community.
Each year I try to bring one new focus into our practice, and the past 12 months the focus has been entirely around taking exercise to a new level in terms of our understanding of how to fine-tune it. And the data are unbelievable, right? So everybody knows that if you smoke or have diabetes, your risk of death goes up a lot. But your risk of death from having high cardiorespiratory fitness goes down by much more than your risk of death goes up from smoking or diabetes.
Not to make it about division, but to simply show how health and wellness and physical activity is prioritized. Because sadly, it's not something that us as African Americans grow up seeing or hearing about as much. At 60 and 70, our community is nowhere as active as it should be. Since I've been on my health and wellness journey, I have seen 70 and 80-year-olds running marathons, okay? So I know the possibility. Now, I'm not saying that there's no African Americans that don't, wear marathons, because you're looking at one, and there's a lot of them out there. But what I'm saying is, we just need more. Just go back to my last 2 marathons that I ran. Just go back to those videos, and you can verify this by watching the start of the race. And again, I'm not saying that we all have to start running marathons. That's not what I'm saying at all right? That's not the message here. All I'm saying is, let's make today's fitness tomorrow's litness. Y'all know I gotta be corny. It's about sweat equity. It's really about sweat equity. Energy you invest today will produce the power that prepares you for tomorrow. Also, some of the excuses in the black community for not being physically active have got to stop. The top 3 for me, I think, is, and in no respective order, I never have time. Yes, you do. We all have the same 24 hours, and you can at least dedicate 30 minutes of that day to some form of physical activity. You can do it. Number 2 is we're all gonna die anyway, so what's the point, right? They've already given up. They've already thrown in the towel, and they're basically just simply waiting on natural selection to take its course. You know, there's no fight, there's no fire left, you know, in those individuals, and that thinking is wrong. Though it's true, we're all going to die one day, it's also true that while we're alive, we have the power and the ability to make the right decisions to help prolong our lives. We have to remember that ultimately it's not about how many years we have left in this life, it's about how much life we have left in the years, right? We have to control the controllables. Which leads me to the third and probably the biggest excuse. That is, listen man, I'm going to do and eat what I want. I'm going to die happy. No, you're not. No one dies happy, okay? And look man, it's already hard enough in the urban communities to follow a healthy diet. In the inner city, in the urban areas, it is like a health food desert. There's just not a lot of healthy options in those areas. Those grocery stores simply make the junk more accessible. Simply look at the quality of the grocery stores and just how many fast food restaurants and convenience stores and liquor stores and vape shops and all of those things are just like super saturated in those communities. Then you go over to the Caucasian communities and you'll find the Whole Foods and you'll find the Sprouts and the health food stores. Also, look at the prices. Certain people are just not willing to spend that extra money or drive those extra miles to get that food. Some of them don't even have the option or the transportation to do so. I'm not shooting the black community any bail, because even the ones that have those options, they'll still stay in their community, they'll eat the unhealthy foods, and they're just not willing to take that drive or spend that extra money, you know, on the healthier food options. My motto is we have to start putting our money where our mouth is, you understand? And putting the best options in our body. We have to. Let's think about this for a second. Really think. Why do you think there's no pharmacies in Whole Foods or Sprouts, but in the grocery stores in the more urban areas, there's pharmacies? Don't worry, I'll wait. You know what? No, I won't. It is because the grocery stores that are in the urban areas, they're not centered around health and wellness. And they know that the people in that community that's been shopping there for so many years, some of them all their lives, they're going to eventually get sick from all of the junk that they sell in those stores. But there's some type of business there that may not be that apparent, but there is a connection between the food and the pharmacy. And sadly, again, I'm not shooting my people any bail. I'm not shooting African Americans any bail or making up any excuses about the decisions that we make, because ultimately a lot of us, we care more about the vehicle that we drive in than the vehicle we thrive in, which is the vehicle that carries our soul, our body, our temple, baby. But with all of that, that's why we should be doing everything that we can to combat those things. There are a lot of these silent weapons. So staying active and educated on our wellness is a free way for us to keep our minds and our bodies as healthy as possible, no matter the community.
So smoking and diabetes will double or triple your risk of death, depending on the time frame you're looking at. Having very high cardiorespiratory fitness, so having a VO2 max that is elite, we would define that as the top 2.5% of the population, compared to below average, is a 5-fold reduction in all-cause mortality, death from any kind.
Whoa.
I mean, we don't have drugs that have a 5x reduction in mortality.
That's incredible, and that's just elite cardiovascular health.
Right. And then when you layer in strength and muscle mass, we actually now have pretty good data as to the fact that strength is more important than muscle mass. We just use muscle mass.
And again, this is where being physically active comes into play. And more specifically, cardiovascular health. And again, there are a lot of African Americans that run. My message is that we need more, especially older African Americans. Shout out to all of the Black Run groups in Atlanta and throughout the United States. Shout out to the Black Men Runs group, to the Black Girl Run group. Shout out to me and my brother's run group, the United Runners Club. So there are a lot of Black people leading that health and wellness agenda. Again, the message is, we need more. The person who hasn't been running, the person who is thinking about getting into exercising, the person who can't stay consistent or dedicated, we need you. My message behind running is for African Americans to start seeing running as a form of medicine and not just something to do because everyone else is doing it. It should be something that you do because you truly understand the powers and the benefit behind the activity. Therefore, you'll be motivated to do it in a group or just as motivated to do it by yourself. I'm telling you that running is a cheat code that can help you improve your life for free. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then cycle. If you can't cycle, then swim. If you have like a disability that prevents you from doing any of that, then maybe try like an upper body exercise bike. Those do exist, by the way. All I'm saying is do something. Movement is medicine. If you rest, you rust. I learned a long time ago to never evaluate a person by their words alone. If you truly want to know what a person is about, what their intentions are, you evaluate that person by their actions.
You live in a dominant culture that is designed to destroy your sense of self and your belief in yourself. And you have to learn ways in which you can begin to connect with this power that you have within yourself to handle where you are. The key is to be constantly in a perpetual process of discovering the truth of who you are and fighting constantly to look for ways in which you can escape the inner conversation.
And also what I've observed is that, most African Americans, again, not all, are so busy trying to keep pace with society monetarily, and we're dead last in the race for health. Which means that by the time that we reach whatever level of success that we're dying to get to, and that's even, if we get there, we are oftentimes not even well enough to really enjoy it for as long as we should. A lot of people spend their whole life trying to get rich while ruining and neglecting all types of relationships. So again, the value of health is priceless. Let's just use an example. Let's say, for instance, a doctor says, that they can bring back a loved one that may have died too early of some type of chronic illness or chronic disease for all of the money, that you worked so hard for. But if you trade in that amount of money, you can bring that loved one back. 98% of you guys would do that in a heartbeat. That just speaks to how valuable good health is. When all Meemaw and Granddad had to do was, get to moving a little bit daily and watching what they ate, and they could possibly still be here. Of course, pending no freak accidents outside of a healthy lifestyle, of course. Again, you got to control the controllables. Individually, it ultimately is about accountability and just, putting in the work and choosing your hard. Yes, consistently putting yourself in physically demanding situations takes a lot of self-discipline and determination, but alternatively, being sedentary and ignoring the need to get physically active and making excuses comes with a much, much steeper price. One that you'll pay ultimately with your health and potentially the quality of life and your lifespan. We need to start focusing on wealth, and that's WHEALTH, which is leaving a legacy of health and wellness along with money, with the desire to be rich in health superseding the desire to be rich monetarily. So for me, winning your race is about leading your community with a strong agenda on health and wellness. That is how you win your race.
The easiest thing I've done was to get out from under the labels and to live the life that I live. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe that I can do it.
You have to tap into suffering every day of your life because we have so much scarring that we have to clean up. You have to look at suffering as almost like I look at failure. To succeed, you must fail. In failure and in suffering, all the answers are in there. All the answers to all the test questions. The test is your life. All the answers are in there. You don't have to live in suffering and pain and failure all the time. You have to learn, I need to visit it. Like people hate working out. You're only going to visit working out maybe an hour a day. 23 other hours of the day, you're not in it. But how you become in shape is you must visit suffering, visit working out 1 hour a day. Visit suffering 1 hour a day. Visit your past failures 1 hour a day. The relationship with it is the answers are in there. They are in there. Within the suffering, go in there, and I call it the live autopsy. The live autopsy. How you find out someone died? They crack you open after you're dead. How you can live is do it while you're alive. Go back in your brain, crack it open while you're alive. Don't wait until you're dead to figure out why you died. Do it while you are living. Go in there, go into the suffering, go into the pain of your life and say, why did this suck for me so bad? Why am I afraid of all this stuff? Why have I shut down the whole world? I guarantee
just riding through the black community, you know, it is a little bit depressing to me. You know, these are actually my old stomping ground. I moved in this area about 20 years ago. I seen one person that really kind of just warmed my heart, man. I seen him running. That was a beautiful thing. I'm saying that we need more of that type of activity. That was the only person that was actually intentionally minding their fitness and getting out, getting exercise, something that we have to work on more as a community. As you can see, as I'm riding down the street, you know, people are just trying to get by. I want to make sure that everyone understands there's empathy there for my people. I love my African American heritage and my people, and I want us to be healthier and live longer. Like I said, you know, our grandfathers, our grandmothers, they're dying way too early. As I have observed in the more affluent communities, in the Caucasian communities, they are actually getting active. They're working out, they're running, and they're involving their children, they're involving their families. And no matter the age, with us, it's not the same. Exercise is the furthest thing from our minds, and it's very sad. It's been that way, you know, in my community, and, you know, unfortunately, you know, I grew up in the inner city where it was more so about tearing down your health, like with drugs and alcohol, fighting and, you know, shooting and killing each other and pretty much eliminating each other and being at odds with each other as opposed to building each other up. The message here with winning your race is all about being intentionally focused on your health and wellness. We absolutely cannot lose that message, and we got to push it forward. Start slow and grow. So go run. It's better than no run. I'm demanding, this is a call to action for African Americans to step it up. Again, there's so many of us that run, but we need so many more. And as you can see, on every corner, there's a vape shop, there's a convenience store, there's fast food restaurants, all of the unhealthy options. There's a section I drove by, I thought it was a grocery store there. It used to be a Kroger's, then it went to some type of, you know, off-brand grocery store. And then they did away with the grocery store altogether. So pretty much it's the food value and the Big Bear. If African Americans take accountability, regardless of the type of environment we're in, running is free, walking is free, getting active is free. It costs you nothing. If you can't afford a gym membership, then let the world be your gym. Get out, pound some pavement, walk, run, jog as a family, with your friends, with your children. Form a community of runners or people who are intentional about their health and wellness. Whatever we have to do to make it happen, we need to make it happen. No more excuses. 1 foot in front of the other. Start small, you know, maybe a quarter of a mile one day, half a mile the next day. We have to do something. We can't continue to do nothing.
When you talk about liberation, you're talking about complete freedom, mind, body, spirit, soul. And that's what running was for me at that time. That's what running still is for me. And that's what I try to impart in people, that it's bigger than running. Running is the vehicle, but what comes out of it? And a lot of us are either running away from something or running to achieve something. And when you add the spiritual component in that, you realize that it's not about the medal. The medal is nothing. There's something that is so much more deeper when you run. My purpose is really just to show, one, anyone can run. Two, Black, Indigenous people of color have every right to be in running spaces just as much as anybody else does. Three, that there is such a powerful spiritual component within running, and that it is actually a great tool for mental health and for you to reclaim your sense of mental clarity.